Hello everyone and welcome to class. Today we'll be dealing with SS3 week 3 topic, which is quadratic equations. I'm sure you must have done it before, but very quickly let's look at quadratic equations. Now, an equation with the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0 is a quadratic equation where a, b and c are constant and a is not equals to 0. This is because if a is equals to 0, we will not have this, and this exactly is what makes it a quadratic equation where the variable has a highest power of what? 2. The highest power of what? 2. So that is what this is the general form of a quadratic equation. For example, 3x squared plus 2x plus 6, 2x minus 3 plus 9x squared. They are both quadratic equations. You can always rearrange it. Are you getting me? 3 minus 17x is equals to minus 32x squared. This you can always rearrange it in this form. Are you getting me now? So this is still quadratic equation as long as there is a variable that has the highest power of what? 2. It can be classified as a quadratic equation. Okay, very quickly I'll be dividing this class into 3 sections. The first section we will talk about the factorization method of solving, which will be this particular class. The second class will be dealing with completing the square and what? Formula method. And the third class we will deal with what? Graphical method of solving quadratic equations. Okay. Now, very quickly, moving to factorization. Now, this is the general method used most times to solve quadratic equations. It's only in some special cases where we cannot factorize that we actually use formula method, or some special questions where we apply completing the square method. Then, if directed or instructed, that's when we use graphical method most times. Most times when you are solving quadratic questions, especially when it is a byproduct of the solution of other topics. For example, you can be solving questions on indices and you find yourself getting a quadratic equation from there. So you don't most times solve using graphical method in those scenarios. You solve using what? Factorization method. So factorization method. We'll be solving just 2 questions. And I'll be giving you the 2 different scenarios when we are factorizing our quadratic equations. For quadratic equations that can be factorized. For those that cannot be factorized, we jump straight to using the quadratic formula. Do take notes. Now we have x squared minus 10x plus 24. And then we also have 3m squared. Now it doesn't have to be x all the time. 3m squared plus 7m minus 6. Okay. How do we solve the 2 of them? And what is the difference between them? The first one here, number 1, is the coefficient of the variable. This x here is the variable. Take note of what I'm saying. The number behind the variable is the coefficient. For example, the number here is invisible 1. Invisible 1. And the coefficient of x here is minus 10, not 10, minus 10. The coefficient of m squared here is 3, and the coefficient of is 7 plus 7. Okay, very quickly. Now, if you have a question like this, where the coefficient of the power of the variable, the power of 2, is 1, you just go straight to factorizing. And what do? Look for a number that you can add together to give you minus 10 and multiply together to give you plus 24. So what number would that be? Now you have between two choices, 12 and 2 or 6 and 4. So we can start checking these two. Now if you find it hard to find factors like this, your challenge would actually be stay familiar with your multiplication table. So if you are familiar with your multiplication table and you are familiar with directed numbers, so do well to go back to memorizing your multiplication table once again. For those of you that don't know your multiplication table. Now 12 times 4 will give us 24 plus 24. It will be plus 12 times plus 2 or minus 12 times minus 2. Now 6 and 4, how do we get 24? It's either plus 6 times plus 4 or plus 6 times minus 6 times what? Minus 4. Now having these 4 options here, we will now check which one can we add together to give us minus 10. Now 12 plus 12 plus 2 will give us plus 14. Plus 14. Minus 12 minus 3 will give us minus 14. So these two does not work. Plus 6 plus 4 will give us what? Plus 10, which is not this. Minus 6 minus 4 will give us what? Minus 10. So this is the option, the best option that we have. In fact, the only option that we actually have. So we replace this with this. So we write s squared minus 6x minus 4x plus 24. Now, if you add this together, you still end up getting what? Minus 10, right? Okay, very quickly. Put a bracket like this. Put a bracket like this. Take note, the sign must go with this one. Now, what is common between s squared and 6x? That will be x alone. Then you have what? X in this will give you x minus x in 6x will give you 6. Sorry. What is common between both of them now? You put minus 4. Minus 4. Why? Because what is in this bracket must tally with what is in this bracket. Are you getting me? So minus 4. Now minus 4x divided by minus 4. Minus will cancel minus. This will give you what? X is tallying with this bracket. Now plus 24 divided by minus 4 to give you minus what? 6. Now you have x minus 4. Now this is actually factorization, right? X minus 6. If you are expanding this now, if you are expanding this, remember expansion goes the opposite way. This is actually factorization. Now it's equals to 0, right? Equate this to 0 and equate this also to 0. You have x minus 4 is equal to 0 and x minus 6 is equal to 0. X is equal to minus 4 and x is equal to what? X is equal to 4 and x is equal to 6. X is equal to what? 4, 6. Very quickly move to the second one. Moving here, we discover that the coefficient of the variable with the power of 2 is what? Is more than 1 or is not 1. Whether it's a fraction or is a whole number that is not 1. As long as it's not 1. Okay, very quickly. We multiply this by this. That's a by c, which will give us what? 3 times minus 6. 3 times minus 6 will give us what? Minus 18. Now, we make this our focus instead of this now. What can we add together to give us 7 and multiply by each other to give us minus 18? So what do we add together to give us 7? Now looking at this, I'm looking at 9 and 2. Now, plus 9 times plus 2 will give us plus 18, which is not minus 18, so it cannot work. Plus 9 times minus 2 will give us what? Minus 18, right? Also plus, but when you add it together, plus 9 plus minus 2 will give us what? 7. right? Now if we were to use minus 9 times plus 2, it also give us minus 18, but you add this together to give us minus 7. But we are looking for what? Plus 7, so it will be plus 9 and minus 2. So we replace it. We replace 7 here with what? 3m squared plus 9m minus 2m minus 6 is equal to 0. Very quickly, we put a bracket, right, to factorize now. What is common? You have 3m that is common between them. M plus 3m in 9m will give us 3. Now what's common between them? M is not common, 2 is common. Minus 2, open bracket, what? Minus 2m divided by minus 2. Right? Give us m. Now minus 6 divided by minus 2 will give us what? 3, abi? Plus, not minus 1, because this minus has cancelled this one, right? Equals to 0. Now you have 3m minus 2, m plus 3 equals to 0. 3m minus 2 equals to 0, and m plus 3, 3m is equals to 2, and m is equals to minus 3. Divide both sides by 3 here. You have m is equals to what? 2 over 3, and what? Minus 3. And this is how we factorize quadratic equations. Now, the values here are known as the what? The roots. These are the roots of our quadratic equation.